Hello. Namaste. Oops. I've got my heater going. I just moved it a bit. Hello, namaste. My name's Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to create some healing time with you. Today is the 5th of September here for me in Tasmania, Australia, and it's exactly 6:37 p.m. Hello, Julie. Hi, Tanya. I trust you're both feeling good. It's been an intense time since Sunday. Things began to get tighter for some of us, and then not so bad, not for me anyway, the last 12 hours, but about 24 hours ago, things tightened up, really tight, almost for some of us, in fact, for a lot of us from who I've been talking to, have been feeling like things are caving in around us, just very recently, the last day or two. It's been extremely intense. Our body feels exhausted. A lot of us feel emotionally and physically exhausted. Our mind is just going 100 miles an hour, crazy. It's been very difficult to settle our mind down, so very difficult to sleep for a lot of us. And it's come in a very tight, uncomfortable way. Some of us, I'm not feeling like this now, by the way. I decided, what's the subject? Good question. We'll be doing some healing time today. So I'm just sharing what I've noticed the energy to be like, or that feels like for some of us. And then we're going to do a bit of healing. I've got my chakra chimes and some other things. So we're going to create a healing space. If you want to hang around, or if you want to join in, please hang around or join in. If you don't, then thanks for stopping by, and maybe just go and do something else that you resonate with. So I've noticed it was a pretty rough night. And I wasn't the only one who had a rough night, as I've found out today. But I felt in the early hours of this morning, so about 12 hours ago, that it was urgent for me to make today about de-stressing and taking the pressure off myself. I noticed that there's a lot of external pressures that are being lumped onto us at the moment. And a lot of them aren't, like someone saying, here, take this load. They are things that we're having to deal with, like people who we love, who were hurt, people that we love passing away, things happening like my daughter yesterday and her friends watched a man basically die in the cafe that they were sitting having lunch at, and that was really traumatic for her and her friends, only 17. So these are the types of things, and the pressure that of things that we have to do, projects we have to complete, things that are coming up that we have to prepare ourselves for. There seems to be a lump of all these external pressures that are being lumped onto us, or that are affecting us, and then we're adding to that by dumping a lot of pressure onto ourselves as well. So then that becomes a big mixing pot, and it feels like the walls are caving in. It feels like the energy is getting tight around us. And we step into overwhelm and becoming really super stressed out. And this happened very quickly. So what I've noticed, like I say, 12 hours ago, I decided that I've got to do something about this. I'm not hanging around in this overwhelming, horrible, heavy, tight, pressuring energy. So I made as much of today that I could around de-stressing, being gentle with myself, and just holding myself, nurturing myself, and what I needed to do that. So I took a bath, had a nap. I just laid back and watched the great pottery throwdown, and just basically just distracted myself and let my mind that was going 100 miles an hour start slowing down to 50 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, and sort of finding something simple that I didn't really have to concentrate on, but I could just kind of enjoy to kind of tame my thoughts down. And that's really worked for me today. So I'm in a much better balanced space now than I was, say, almost 24 hours ago. So we go through this, and a lot of us have been going through this intense period right now. People are asking me why. Who knows? I don't know right now. Maybe clarity will come. Maybe we'll find out why later. I'm not interested in dissecting it and investigating it because my mind's been too active anyway. So I'm trying to tone my mind and my thoughts down. I don't need to be thinking about the whys and dissecting and looking at the details, because that just then probably set my mind into 200 miles an hour. So I'm trying to just find my balance. And sometimes that's what we need to do, is to step back, take some time, or whatever we need to do that works with our schedule and works with how we feel, that supports us. We don't need to know the nitty-gritty details of everything. So at this moment, I'm not even interested in wanting to know the details. I just want to travel through this and find my balance. So that's kind of the space I'm in. How are you doing? I trust that you're in a good space. I am very aware that a lot of people are feeling in a very similar way. So I think and feel that's what brings me here. That's why I'm here right now. I could be sharing guidance for Wednesday and Thursday. I don't feel inspired to do that right now. I feel it's more important to hold this space, to create a space of healing, a space of support. Because one thing that's really interesting about this current energy that I'm traveling out of now, fingers crossed, but that I'm on a calmer side of now, one thing I'm noticing is that a lot of us are thinking or feeling separate. We're feeling alone. We feel like we're in a crowded room screaming and no one hears us. We feel like no one notices that we're struggling right now, or no one notices that, whatever it is that we might be going through that's intense. So we are feeling quite alone and separate. I was feeling quite alone and separate. The last thing I wanted to do was even open up and say, look, I'm struggling right now. I just felt like I wanted the support and the love, but I also felt like I was alone and separate. And it's not a comfortable place to be in. So I'm here now on the other side, in this space of support, and reminding you that we are in this together, that you're not alone in what you're going through, especially if you've been going through something similar in the last few days. So I trust that our time together helps you and supports you and resonates with you in some way. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to start. Start doing what? Who knows? Who knows? What I'm going to do is to start by pulling a healing energy card. So I'm going to pull a healing energy card just to add a bit of insight or something that we need to talk about connecting with this current energy. So the current energy, meaning the current energy that we feel right now, that you feel right now. So this current space that we're traveling through. So let's see what it is, and then I'm going to talk about the card a bit, and then we will use the chakra chimes. So we might end up doing a bit of chakra balancing, a bit of uplifting of our energy, because when we feel tight and pressured and alone and stressed out and dealing with pressures, it weighs us down. So our energy densifies, if you like. Perhaps trying to keep us separate. Our pained, wounded self might be trying to hold us back at this time. A lot of us have made lots of steps forward, stepping into lots of new beginnings and opening lots of new doors in our life, and have been in a really good place. So sometimes our ego, our wounded self, panics because it needs us to feel wounded. It needs us to feel hurt and separate and scared for its survival. So if our ego, our wounded self, is threatened, if its survival's threatened, it's going to throw up, vomit all over our happiness. So that may be contributing to what some of us have been feeling too. So that's why probably I was inspired to grab the chimes, because it is very uplifting. But anyway, let's grab a healing energy card first. Lots of love to you all. Okay, interesting. This is card 23, called Bridge Between the Heart and the Throat. Have you been noticing communication issues? Big communication issues since the weekend have been coming up for a lot of us. So I'm not surprised this card's come up. I'm going to read this and then we'll talk a bit more about it. It says healing of the throat and heart chakras. So the throat, the heart. The throat is our center for communication, truth and expression, and feeling safe to speak our truth, feeling safe to be ourselves. Our heart is our center for love of self, others and all creation. It's also our center where usually we find or don't find, we either have or we're lacking acceptance. So it's usually where I find acceptance tends to sit in the heart. So have you also been noticing that you've had communication issues? Comes back to the throat. Have you been feeling unsafe to speak your truth? Unsafe to be yourself and have held back, bottled things up because you're not sure what you're going to say, what you want to say. You might even know what you're going to say. You might not even know how to say in words what you're feeling, and you might be worried that these words aren't going to be taken the right way because you're not really clear about them. Have you also been noticing that you're feeling really low about yourself? Unappreciated perhaps? Alone? Unloved? Isolated? These have all been coming up in the last couple of days, and these are all centered around the throat and the heart. It also says here to share from your heart. Past traumas seen as positive lessons in the now. Say what you feel. Now, if we don't feel safe to say what we feel to others, if we don't feel the courage or the confidence or have the energy right now to say, hey, that hurt me, hey, those words you said affected me in a negative way or something. If we don't have the courage to do that to another person, if we don't feel safe to, we've always got our journal. And our journal's a place that we can express and communicate those sorts of things that we're feeling inside that we might be struggling to get words to find, or we might be looking for clarity ourselves. And it helps get that energy moving. So communication is really important, but sometimes we think that means we need to communicate it with other people. It doesn't always mean that. It can mean definitely that we're communicating that with ourselves. So our journal, writing down, can be a great way of exploring how we're feeling, finding words to describe it, letting it move to the next feeling, and reaching understanding about why we feel that way. Why has this come up for us? What do we feel's lacking in our life that's really getting our attention right now? It may not have anything to do with another person. It may be our own wounded self just kind of loud right now. So, bridge between the heart and throat. This card talks about communicating from our hearts. So if we imagine a bridge or a channel that comes up from our heart, as we feel our feeling, as we feel our truth, as we sit in our vulnerability, and let that energy rise up our body and out through our words, spoken or written or just expressing them. So really clearing and thinking about, I keep spitting everywhere. Luckily no one's sitting in front of me except for you. Clearing that channel and really thinking about speaking from our heart rather than speaking from our head and what we think other people need to hear, or we speak from our wounds sometimes, or our insecurities, our limiting thoughts, and speaking that way. We're really being encouraged through this energy to speak up from our heart, but very much openly communicate with ourselves. That's the essential part of this, rather than, I think a lot of the things we're going through right now are very personal. And even though other people may be triggering our irritations and our agitations and what we're noticing, they might be triggering these things, but they're reflecting our own wounds that are trying to get our attention. So let's now work with the chimes. Can you see these? If I hold them up, let's lower this just a little bit. Oh, sending you lots of love. It is such a challenging time, isn't it, at the moment? Like some really big things are coming up. So just please go nice and gently, and sending my heartfelt love to everyone who's struggling, dealing with grief or loss, or who is just simply struggling right now. No, whether you have a good reason or not. If you're struggling, you're struggling. So admit that to yourself. Usually when I admit to myself, hey, I'm struggling, the struggle seems to start to shift. So when I hold myself in the struggle and no one understands my struggle, I'm holding myself in a stagnant space in the struggle. So as soon as I say to myself or verbally, hey, I'm struggling right now, that gets the energy moving. So just do your best. Sometimes that's all we can do. I'd like you to be able to see these, but I don't know if I can play them so high. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to play these. These are the chakra chimes. And I'm not going to talk. Just going to hold this space with the chimes. Oh, well, I say I'm not going to talk. I don't intend to at this moment. But we may run some energy through our chakra system. So I'll just see how I feel. I'm just going to not talk, at least for the first few minutes. So you can hold this space and take from the chimes what you need. So what I suggest is that you just surrender to this moment. So see if you can take some deep breaths and just let the tension that you're holding in your muscles relax. Let your mind and whatever is going on in there just drift into the background. And just really focus on your breathing. Nice big breaths. You might want to think of your breath going in a big circle. So as you breathe in, and then a smoother transition as you can as you transition to your out breath. And around and in, and imagine. I use this visualization a lot when I'm trying to go to sleep, if I'm struggling to sleep, is to breathe in a big circle. See if you can make it big and full and smooth. So while I'm playing the chimes, at the very least, just listen. Let the chimes touch you in your body, in your being where you need it. And if you want to take the experience deeper, then please do. So nice deep breath. We'll start with the heart. Nice deep breath. Okay, let's run some energy. Let's lift ourselves up. So we're going to start, well, this is what I'm going to encourage. If you want to do this a different way, please trust your intuition. But I feel I would really like to start from our base chakra, so the lower part of our body, and almost bring the energy up like we are a tree growing from the base or growing from the roots. Let's turn that heater off. Suddenly getting very hot. So we're going to start with the base chakra. So I'm going to run through each chakra up to the crown, so the 7 major chakras. Please join with me if you want to, or just listen. If you're not sure about what the chakras are, or if that's a new thing for you, just perhaps sit with it and see how it feels. Does it feel right to you? Does it make sense to you? And you can trust that. If it doesn't, then maybe it's not something that resonates with you, and that's okay. So let's start from the base chakra. In fact, let's start from the soles of our feet. So bring your attention to your feet, the soles of your feet, and feel your connection to Mother Earth. Feel your connection to your physical body. And imagine a beautiful red, rich red, brown light coming up from the earth and into the soles of your feet. This energy from the earth brings with it support and love, strength and stability. And allow this rich red-brown light to travel up through your feet, up your legs, and up to your tailbone at the base of your spine. That's your base chakra. Your base chakra is your center for grounding and survival instincts. It's your most physical of the chakras. So if you're struggling to survive right now, if you're struggling to stay happy in your life, or if you're not happy in your life, you might be having issues around this area. So imagine this energy from the earth filling up your base chakra. If you struggle to visualize it, just know it's happening. As this area fills up like a vortex of energy, like a space at your base, the base of your spine, and it fills up with this red-brown light. So take some deep breaths and breathe into it. And now bring your attention and this energy up to your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra sits just below your navel, and it's your center for emotional, sexual and creative energy. And it sits in a band, including your lower back, so a band around your belly and lower back. So imagine that energy that's been rising up in your body push up into your sacral chakra and help clear out any old unexpressed or bottled up emotions that you're storing in your belly. Take some big deep breaths and think about letting go of any old emotions that you've been holding on to. And the energy in your sacral chakra becomes clear, a beautiful clear orange light. So we take a nice deep breath and bring our attention up the body to the solar plexus chakra. So the solar plexus chakra sits just above the navel, and it also encompasses a band, if you like, or a zone around the area just above your navel and around your middle back. And it's your center for personal power, strength, and courage. So if you've been feeling lacking in courage, lacking in confidence, if you've been feeling powerless or scared or anxious, it will usually show up in your solar plexus chakra. So nice big breath as that energy draws up the body and into your solar plexus chakra, and it pushes out or clears out all issues and blocks that are ready to be released from this area. So take some big deep breaths and let go of the power struggle. Let go of your need to control. Let go of your fear, your anxiety. As best as you can, breathe it out and away. And allow that area to clear and fill up with this beautiful energy that's turning yellow. A beautiful, vibrant, clear yellow. Is it a bit easier to breathe now? Okay, now imagine bringing that energy up into your heart. So here at your heart, and again we have a zone that goes around to our upper back that incorporates our heart area, the heart chakra. Our heart chakra is our center for love of self, others, and all creation, and our center for acceptance. So let this energy move in and clear out all blocks you have in feeling, receiving, being open to love. Can you let love in? Let your heart open and fill up with this energy that turns green or pink or a different colour that resonates with you. Nice and clear and strong in your heart. Remembering that it takes a lot of strength to be vulnerable. So to be vulnerable doesn't mean that your heart is closed necessarily. To be vulnerable means that you're feeling and you're sitting in that rawness. And that's a strong thing to do. It takes less strength to turn the vulnerability off and to pretend. So don't be afraid of your fragility. It is safe for you to be raw and fragile and vulnerable. So nice big breath as you bring the attention now up into the throat chakra and the zone around the neck that incorporates the throat too, including the back of the neck. So any issues in this area physically will probably come back to the throat chakra. So the throat chakra is the center for communication, expression, and truth. And a bit of a problem area, or I should say a bit of an area that's getting our attention in a negative-ish way at the moment. So a lot of us may, and this, even the sound of this sounds a bit flat, of this chime. So I'll work with that in a minute. But we may have been noticing some communication issues of late, the last couple of days. So nice big breath. There's definitely energy shifting in the throat here. Whew, and the energy's getting very hot. So allow the energy to push up in your body, up into your throat chakra. and allow it to clear out anything that's blocking you in the area of communication, of expression, anything that's blocking you from living your truth as fully as you can in this moment. So nice big breath. And allow your throat chakra to hold in the energy of beautiful blue, clear, strong light. Blue and vibrant. Healing through your throat chakra. Healing through your communications. And a nice big breath as we now bring our attention up into our third eye chakra. So the third eye chakra sits here on the forehead in between the eyes, and its zone, if you like, is like a band that comes around to the base of the skull. That's the back of the third eye chakra. It's our center for trust, intuition, and vision. So trust issues usually come back to the third eye chakra. So this is strong. We're really being encouraged to trust at the moment. Trust in ourselves and trust that everything is going to work out, even if it doesn't really feel that way right now. So let the energy come up from your body that we've been working with and push up into your third eye chakra and clear out like you're clearing out a dirty room. Sweep it out. Get all the garbage and the clutter out of your third eye chakra, so that you can clear it and strengthen your ability to trust in yourself, in your journey. So nice big breath. Whew, that's a strong one. So as that room within your third eye chakra is cleared out, it fills up with this beautiful indigo light or dark blue, strong and clear, trusting that you know what you need to do. You might not know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you know what you need to do now. So connect in with that knowing and trust it. Okay, let's let this energy push up now into our crown chakra at the top of our head. Our crown chakra sits up here and it's our center for connection. So connecting to the world beyond the physical. If we're feeling separate or alone or disconnected, then we've probably got some issue or block that's showing up in the crown chakra. So take a nice deep breath as we clear out the crown chakra and think about letting go of any separation issues or feeling alone or lonely at this time. Let it go. It feels very real, but in fact it is an illusion, because in truth we are connected. So let it go. You are strong. You are united. You belong here. So let your crown chakra fill up with beautiful white light. It begins to glow there on your crown. Now, like you were a tree-like branches start growing out of your crown chakra and stretching into the sky above, helping you feel a renewed sense of connection and purpose, and reminding you that you do belong here, that you know that you can trust what you know within your heart. So take some nice deep breaths and just reinforce that uplifting, strengthening, clearing that we've been doing throughout the whole body. So perhaps imagine breathing up and down your body and just reinforcing this energy. And if only one thing that you've benefited from or received during this connection is the reminder that you are not alone. If that's all you've received, then that's a great thing, because you are not alone. None of us are alone. Our wounded self, that space of illusion, makes us think that we are, but we're not. And we can trust that. And sometimes we have that knowing that, hey, we know that we're not alone. We know that we have that support there, but another part of us is telling us otherwise, that doubts that, and we have a conflict going on inside. Let's let that go right now and just be in this space of strength and unity together. You are not alone. You belong here. This is a temporary space that you, that I, that we are going through. It's not forever like this, even though sometimes it feels like it when we're in those depths of dark places, those deep dark places inside. So just travel through as best as you can, and if you're still traveling through, just nurture yourself through it. Work with your journal to support you and help express and get that energy moving too. So thank you. I trust you enjoyed that bit of chime. They were the chakra chimes, which are wonderful. I trust they came through my microphone A-OK. And you're feeling a lot better than you did before. So I'm now looking for another healing energy card to represent our forward movement from here now. So we've done a lot of shifting. If you've been with me since this started, since the beginning, I don't know how long I've been going for, probably a while. If you've been here since nearly the beginning, we've shifted quite a lot of stuff. We've cleared a lot of cobwebs out. We've regained a lot of strength and a lot of energy. Recharging too comes to mind. So we've shifted a lot of stuff. I'm looking for the best card now to think about how to embody this. What do we need to know for what's next? How can we take the next step? What do we need to keep in mind when we get back into our everyday life and we have to deal with those same problems or those same burdens or pressures that we're going through right now? What can we do? That's what I'm looking for. I'm just saying out loud my intentions that I would usually be saying in my head, just so you know what I'm doing. So here's our card for what's next. Mental healing. So this is card 19, and it says healing of the mind through exploration and inner reflection, which leads into an expansion of the mind. Ego healing, mental chaos, grounding. So a lot of us have been feeling intense mental energy at the moment, or these last few days. Like our minds racing and just thinking all sorts of crazy, stupid things, really. So something to keep in mind or to be aware of now as we prepare to finish this and move back into our everyday life is to keep our mind thoughts in check, but also pay attention to them. No, do we need to pay attention to them? Sometimes we need to pay attention to them, and other times they're just so crazy and out there and loud that we actually need to distract ourselves from them. So what we need to do will be probably a personal thing for us to decide. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, I'm not in a mentally exploration space right now, or all day today. I am overthinking, meaning I'm tired of thinking. I don't want to keep thinking, and knowing that things are blowing out of proportion like they were last night for me and different now. So what's helped me today is that I've been distracting myself to try and calm my mind thoughts down. So it's not always the best idea to explore our thoughts especially if we're in a very, very overreacting, overthinking space, big time. So if we're on the verge of overwhelm, or if we've stepped into overwhelm and we're just not coping, then that is not the time to sit down and digest our thoughts, because our heavy thoughts that are just so busy and crazy and intense are just going to probably take it to the next level. So sometimes what we need to do is distract ourselves, find something pleasant that we can concentrate on that can just start slowing the thought process down, if you like. I also find it really helpful to get physically active. So if in the middle of the night I can't sleep because my mind is just racing and I'm trying to sleep and my body's exhausted, but I just keep thinking, doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does. And I'm quite known to get up and do like a pacing or some aerobics, or even go for a walk, just to kind of get that energy out, because the energy, it's intense. So figure out for yourself if this mental energy needs to be explored, to be looked at. What's it trying to tell you? But for the most part, most of us might find that trying to distract ourselves so that we can reconnect, almost like putting the brakes on, so that then we can steer and go down a new direction from a heart space, might be important. So let's keep our mind thoughts in check. Let's be aware of what we're thinking, and if it's taking over, and take steps that we need to do to de-stress or nurture ourselves, or distract ourselves from the thoughts that are just ridiculous. Because we know if the thoughts are ridiculous or not. We know if the thoughts are real or not. If the thoughts aren't real, if they're not supporting us, if they're making things worse than what they really are, let's distinguish that and notice that, and then take the steps we need to do to banish those thoughts, because we have the power to do that. So, these are powerful lessons because they're helping us get to know ourselves just that little bit more, but also not an easy time. So let's just ride the wave. Let's nourish ourselves. Let's be there for ourselves, and let's step up and ask for help if we need it. So thank you so much for connecting with me today, and I trust that you have found something helpful and supportive during our time together. Sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button or show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to, or if you want to connect more privately, just send us a message through our website. If you want to learn more about the work that I do, if you resonate with my way and my approach and my quirkiness, I guess, my uniqueness, you might find something helpful on my website. So have a look if you're inspired to. There might be something supportive there. I will most likely be back tomorrow to share some guidance for Thursday and Friday. So keep an eye out for that video at some point. And have a great rest of your day, and sending you again lots of love from my heart to yours. You are not alone. You belong here. Don't forget it. You belong here. There is purpose to you being here. So thank you, and thank you for showing up in your life. Thank you for walking those dark steps at times when it is dark. Thank you for helping other people when you need to and when they need it. So, thank you for being who you are. Sending you lots of love. Namaste.